Basically, I get disappointed when the outcome is not what I wanted or expected. So the equation for me is R, which is result, is equal to performance minus expectation. My role as a leader is to set the expectations appropriately. It should be fair and it should have clarity. First of all, you have to get into the conversation. There is no other option.
Hi, Nikhil. Welcome to this conversation.
Hi, thanks, Sai.
Nikhil, I want to talk to you today about a specific topic,
Mhm.
disappointment, and how do you handle disappointment with, your team or a direct of yours. Yeah. And the reason I picked this is really, I feel this is such an integral part of leadership that this keeps coming up. And I find every leader has a very unique approach to how they handle their own disappointment as well as how they handle it interpersonally, relationally, with their direct. So I just find this could be very, very useful to delve into. So my question to you is,
Mhm.
what really happens to you, your own inner process, yeah, when there is disappointment, and where is it that you first go to when you encounter a disappointment with one of your directs, who are also all senior people in their own rights?
Mhm. First of all, Sai, thanks a lot for you know picking this topic because according to me, it's the most important topic as a leader. Because internally, I have to accept that it is going to be part of my life as a leader. Disappointment. So I almost expect the disappointment and not shy away from it, and then basically later address it.
Yeah, brilliant. How important it is to just to have a belief which is saying that these things are definitely going to happen. So let me as a leader build a muscle uh,
Yep.
to handle it and to also to take it forward with my team member. So Nikhil, when you think of disappointment, how do you actually process it, and what is your thought process after the awareness of the disappointment?
So Sai, you know that I'm engineer. So I have what I've coined is I'll share that with you in for my own self. So why do we get disappointed? Basically, I get disappointed when the outcome is not what I wanted or expected. So the equation for me is R, which is result, is equal to performance minus expectation. That's my equation. So R is result, P is performance, E is expectation. My role as a leader is to set the expectations appropriately. It should be fair and it should have clarity. The clarity is most important thing. The performance is what the other person brings to the table.
Right. And so is there any example that comes to your mind where you had to apply R equals P minus E?
Yeah, I will first give you example which I learned a lot from where I made the mistake in not setting the expectation right, where we were deeply involved in product development, quite innovative, was supposed to be good for the market. I got driven by my own reward and recognition, vanity, whatever you want to call it. So I committed or overcommitted that we will finish it within 6 months. When afterwards I realized that 6 months will not be necessary, it will take at least 1.5 to 2 years. So I put my team and the leaders under undue pressure and got disappointed with them while actually the expectation was misplaced.
Wow. So that's a really interesting example because there is disappointment with your directs, but you're talking about seeing your own part in this whole exercise and how important it was to actually set expectations that wasn't done well, which led to the disappointment. So I'm seeing here that how important it is to have that capacity for a deeper reflection of what is the role that you played in this disappointment.
Correct.
Mm.
And I will take the performance part because that somebody else has to perform. I said it. So that has three components: willingness, ability, and readiness. So willingness of the will of the person to make it happen, ability basically the talent, and readiness is the preparation side. And where I can contribute is making sure that the person is prepared, well prepared to make that happen. And in some cases, the disappointment was because of one of the three factors or all of these.
Got it. Got it. So you've talked about will, ability, and readiness. Yeah.
Yep.
So WAR seems to be the acronym that you.
War.
Yeah. So Nikhil, given that you are examining, willingness, ability, and readiness,
Mhm.
do share a little bit about what does it entail to do this conversation?
Hmm. First of all, I think you spoke the right things. It's first of all you have to get into the conversation. There is no other option.
Right.
And what I should not do is send out an email. That
Hmm.
is not a solution to anything. And get into it to help each other to overcome the mutual disappointment. Because I have seen invariably that person is also disappointed with the outcome. So it's not the only one I have disappointed. We need to help each other to overcome that disappointment by setting the things right in any of these areas.
I'm hearing, while you didn't name it, I'm hearing that it is so important for you as a leader to connect with the emotional state of the person in front of you, with their own psychological state at the moment, and perhaps to anchor yourself in empathy a little bit.
I shy away from that word. It is overused
Mm,
by people and less demonstrated. So that's why I tend not to use it. But
sure,
you're right.
sure. So, would you actually say to the person that you are disappointed?
I think it is extremely important, Sai,
Mhm.
to share uh, that disappointment. It's not my disappointment, it's a mutual disappointment. And in fact, that clears the ground for having a constructive conversation
And
to
the
address the
and the
situation.
constructive conversation is towards will, ability, and readiness.
Absolutely. Or for that matter, expectation. I will tell him that I'm sorry, my expectation was misplaced. Let's set the expectation, right? And then if we have to do certain preparations, for example, in some cases, I have changed the role of person because it was unfair expectation on that person.
Sure. So as you close the conversation with the individual, yeah,
Mhm.
what do you think is typically your style, or what is important for you? You think the ingredients of closure of that conversation, because conversation about disappointment and about performance are always, they're not easy, and so I'm just wondering what is important closure for you.
For me, top three things, if you ask me, Sai, is respect, pride, and care, and that we should value in that person as well. So never move away from these three components.
Say more about respect, pride, and care. How do these ingredients actually show up, in a conversation, or maybe even as you end the conversation? Are there phrases that you typically end up using? Is there a particular attitude that you bring out at the end? I'd love to hear more about each of these.
Yeah, I think. See, I think what gets reflected and augurs well now, the authenticity comes not just in words but also in action.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean through all the senses that we have, not only through words. So when the person understands that I do respect what the person brings on the table in terms of the competence, whether behavioral competences, technical competence, domain competence, this should be very clear to that person. And around that, the kind of achievements, this could be a disappointment, but the kind of achievements that the person has, brought in his or her life, and specifically, I do touch on personal as well as professional things. Those achievements definitely instills pride in that person. It's okay. This one time it has not happened doesn't mean that it's end of the world, quite frankly.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it is the care for that person, that the person needs to understand it's for that person that we are doing it, and the safety of the person, the security of the person is very important, and I mean that from the emotional angle.
Yeah, very, very beautiful three words, I think. Yeah, really serves as a great structure for any leader, even to reflect after the conversation. Yeah, have I been respectful? Did I speak with pride about who they are and what they've done, and how they've contributed, and to do it all with care. I think. Yeah. Thank you so much, Nikhil. This has been very rich in terms of so many nuggets and pointers around your process with disappointment. Thanks again for being here.
Thanks, Sai. Thanks a lot.